Greetings. Hi, this is Angus, the Mad Cow, with your May edition of my Ranting Hour. Sorry it's a bit late. I had computer issues. Downloading all this new stuff and getting all my backups and all that good stuff. But enough about me. Well, wait, this whole show's about me. Well, mainly, it's me ranting about stuff and my personal opinion on things. And if you guys want to have your opinions heard, you gotta go to my forums and let me know what you want me to talk about. Of course, they suck. I'm only got like the general tab. It's because nobody's using them. If you guys would use them, maybe I'd spend more time on dressing it up. Man, screw you guys. Don't want to use my forums? Come on. Thought you guys were supposed to be fans. Fans give feedback. Took me a long time to find the classic Spanish guitar. That is one of my all-time favorite instruments. This music is dedicated to all of my Latino brothers and sisters out there that might listen to me, or at least have a little bit of heritage in them. I love Mexican music. Not big on the food, I love the music. But anyway, we're going to talk about many different topics today. No, I have no idea what. Well, I'll figure it out as I go along. You know, I'm running late. I gotta come up with something. Gotta get this on the site. This is Angus. May edition of my Ranting Hour. Let's go! Alright, like I mentioned, well, a little bit into the thing, I was having computer issues. Essentially, I had to reformat my computer and, well, I screwed up my backups. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I've done it, hundreds of times. Well, maybe not hundreds, but at least dozens of times. And the one time that I really don't need something to screw up, it screws up. And actually, in order for it to be a total screw up, it took two computer people to do it. Myself and my buddy Tommy. Because I really messed up the first part. And it was salvageable at that point if I had, thought about, hey, I didn't unplug my secondary hard drive. And when he went to go try to fix something that I had messed up before, not knowing I had a secondary hard drive, he deleted that partition as well, and all my stuff went poof. Had a nice little recovery program, and I could have gone through and probably salvaged a good bit of it, but most of it that I was able to salvage was, some of it was corrupt, some of it wasn't. And I figured out I had so much junk I need to go through, and basically, it's like when you've lived in a place for such a long time that you've accumulated so much odds and ends, just knick-knack junk, and you need to have a yard sale or a Goodwill run or something like that. And the process of going through all of the junk that you thought was so cool or that you needed now is just, it's junk. You mean you don't need it, you don't use it, it's been in a box or a closet or whatever, and it's a real hard process to gather up all this stuff that you don't use anymore. Yeah, that's one of the easiest way to figure out how much crap that you have that you really do not need, or even realize you still have. Move. Yeah, wherever you're living, move. Even if it's to the apartment building upstairs that's like a couple more rooms or something like that. You will find stuff that you thought you never even bought. You're like, where in the world did this come from? I've got an ashtray shaped like Elvis's head. Things like that. Not that I actually have an ashtray shaped as Elvis's head, but, that's just, okay, I'm a hick, but I'm not that bad. Nothing against Elvis. I like Elvis, but I don't want to have, my ashes going into, like, his skull. That would just be kind of creepy. Damn, I already lost my train of thought on this one. Sleep deprivation, and I'm running late putting this together, so I'm just going to go try to just, plow through this and get an hour, so you guys can have something, because, when I'm recording this, it's over half. It is exactly the Ides of May, which anybody that's not, beware the Ides of March, anybody, Ides is the middle, which is usually the 15th. Okay? Ides of March is the 15th of March. Ides of May, blah, blah, blah. Go read some Shakespeare. I don't want to have to explain all this stuff. I explain it because, well, I like talking, if you hadn't figured that out yet. You know, of course, if I hated to talk, this would be like a real job. Of course, it's not a real job because, heck, I ain't getting no money for this. At least not yet. You guys can help that. I keep stressing that point. I do have a little bit of advertising on the website right now. It's nothing major, nothing flashy, nothing going click here, click here, click here. I'm not going to have any of those ads on the website, so don't worry about that. But I will have ads here and there. And hopefully if this thing takes off later on, merchandise. You know, if your own Angus the Mad Cow t-shirt, you know, or CDs. You know, once I get enough material up, I might put out a few CDs, you know, best of. I can't really do a blooper CD. Well, I had some, but they're gone now due to the computer accident. I had some dandies in there too. I can go back and try to recreate them, but of course they're not going to be nearly as good. But there's going to be more bloopers. Especially now that I've started doing a lot more editing in my tracks. A lot of this, you know, you're hearing the finished works. You know, back when I first started, if you guys remember, I said I was just going to do this straight through. No editing, no pausing, no cleaning it up. You get what you get. Then I started doing some censoring because I had some potty mouth stuff. And instead of redoing the whole track and changing my words, I just go in, I put a bleep. There's one track with a bleep on it now. I'll go in and edit out like dead spots, places where I'm clearing my throat, you know, so you guys don't hear the, you know, smoker's cough or something like that. You know, just some cleaning up, things like that. Of course, I'm not going to clean that up because, you know, if I took that out in this conversation out of context, you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Dude's gone crazy. Oh, damn, that's a short trip. Okay, well, this is just kind of fill you in why May is late. You know, I was a dopey and didn't do what I was supposed to do and lost a lot of stuff. And I almost had May edition done. So I'm going to go back, pick my brain a little bit. I had 4 tracks done. So I'm going to go back and try to redo those tracks and see what we come up with. Because I had some decent material talking about politics. But I'm going to talk about some other stuff too to fill in the last hour, because that's not going to take up the whole hour, just that little bit. And we're going to see what we're going to get. Alright, be back with you guys in like 2 seconds, or however long it takes to load the next track from your internet connection. You know, your high speed may vary. Okay, before I was a dumb schmuck and had all my stuff deleted, I had this little track that I called Politics. Actually, I don't remember what I titled it. But it's about politics. Actually, more specifically, political commercials. Now, I hate most political commercials. You know, because they're slanted, for one. You know, of course, to their particular party. Primarily, the most commercials you see are either Republican or Democrat. Because we are primarily a two-party country. There are other parties out there, but you don't hear a lot of them because mainly they don't have a lot of money like the Republicans and Democrats do for massive ad campaigns. But one thing I hate about the commercials that I've been seeing a lot of that are just really pissing me off are these ones that are focusing on climate change, global warming, gas prices, whatever they're talking about. The one that's sticking in my brain now, it's got Newt Gingrich and the current Speaker of the House, and I forget the lady's name. Whatever her name is. But anyway, Newt and this lady are sitting there basically, you know, talking about how, you know, playing back and forth on each other about how they don't all see eye to eye on different topics and stuff like that. But one thing they do agree on is like global warming or something like that. It happened to do with global warming or climate change or something along those lines. The thing that's pissing me off, I know, I'm trying to get to that point. The thing that's pissing me off about those type of commercials is that they mention that we need to tell our leaders that we need to make a change. Okay, for those of you that are out there listening to this, you are probably have a little bit of intelligence to you. Because, well, most of the people that I consider to be idiots will listen to a few of my rants, get pissed off, and never listen to me again. Good riddance. Of course, those are actually the ones I'm really targeting because they need to listen to me and wake up. But the you guys that are listening to this, you're fairly intelligent. If the Speaker of the House and a former Speaker of the House and other senators and congressmen and the president are telling you that you need to tell your leaders to do something. Hello, Miss Speaker of the House and congressmen and senators, aren't you the freaking leaders? Hell, that's just me. To me, the Senate, the Congress, and the president. The little triangle that they've got set up. They're the freaking leaders. Why should me, a lowly citizen, be telling you to get off your ass and do your freaking job? You're spending whatever money on whatever ad campaign on these commercials telling me to tell you to do your... It's a freaking waste of time. Why should I need to tell you... Okay, you're telling me to tell you to do your job. Does that make any freaking sense to anybody? The Speaker of the House is telling me to tell her to get off her ass and work? Okay. Lady, get off your ass and do something. It goes for every other senator and congressman out there, including the president. Whatever one you happen to be, because the last few we've had are freaking morons. And don't even tell me about their personal lives, okay? Congressman, senator, president, whatever. And most people can, all the jokes have already been told. Some of them go, Bill Clinton. Okay, I don't care if he's getting some extra on the side from an intern. All right? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is if he's actually listening to the public, listening to the people that got him in office, and actually doing his job that he was elected to do. That's all I care. John F. Kennedy, one of the greatest presidents of all time, okay? He was getting it on with lots of people other than his wife. And it's all rumors and conjectures, but I'm sorry. I mean, there is enough proof for me that that guy was a player. All right? And he was a good president. I don't care what somebody's getting on in their bedroom. It doesn't matter to me. All right? I've gotten way off topic on here. But, I don't need to know political people's personal lives. Now, some people's like, well, we need to know that to get a better view of the person in general, which arguably could be correct in certain aspects, but don't go take it too far. If somebody's like, got schizophrenia or some other major medical condition in their family history or their current history that could affect them in their job placement as an elected official, yeah, I'd like to know it. Who they're banging on the side, I don't give a flip about. Alright? It don't matter to me. It's just sex. Unless, some extreme circumstances is a petty. That I would want to know about. Getting some extra from an intern, hey, job perk. Okay? Well, maybe not considering him, but anyway. I'm sorry, you gotta be pretty desperate to sleep with Bill Clinton to begin with. Dude ain't all that great looking. And coming from me, that's pretty bad. But the main topic of this, I was talking about freaking political commercials and how they piss me off. Alright, leaders, you don't need to tell me to tell you to do your job. Alright, you should already know that. When we elected you, we were telling you, you need to do your job, and we think you're the one that can do it. At least the people that got out and voted. Well, of course, not everybody voted for the same person. That's why we got the whole voting thing. So we'll just have to agree to disagree on that topic. On how some people, Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I'm going to stop it right here. Come back and talk about something else. Be back with you guys in a second. Blah! I hate my brain sometimes. Okay, obviously my brain still needs a little bit of break from politics. So, um, speaking of commercials, let's stick with that topic. No politics, just commercials. One thing that's really pissing me off about commercials in general, and you've all seen these, and everybody's had this happen to them at least once. You're sitting there watching the commercial break for whatever reason. I usually go up and do something else. I don't generally watch commercials. But, I don't have to go to the bathroom, or I don't need to make me any popcorn or anything like that. So I'll sit and, watch the commercial. Try to sell me some stuff. And you'll sit there and you'll watch this commercial about something, and you've got car waving in the end, breeze going, and all this other stuff going on. And by the time all of this cinema and brain candy, by the time it's over, you have no freaking clue what they were trying to sell you. None. You have no idea what the product was. Case in point. True story. This is one of those things that has happened to me, and I still, to this day, do not know what they're trying to sell me. I have seen 3 different versions of this commercial. It usually starts out with a close panning of an eyeball. You've got weird sound effects and stuff in the background, either an engine running or people screaming and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden this mouth, that's the iris of the eyeball, and it's screaming. Mouth open, teeth showing, screaming at me. And usually it's the scream is like it's like an applause, like when you're in the arena. That kind of scream. Just this whole audience screaming in this eyeball. And I've seen 3 different eyeballs, all with the similar screaming and everything like that. I have no freaking clue what this commercial is about. I've even had dreams about this thing. I mean, nightmares, really, of this eye screaming at me. That's how disturbing this commercial is to me. I'm obviously not that particular person's target audience, because they cannot get across to me what they're trying to sell me. That's what pisses me off about these commercials, is they go through, these commercials are not cheap. They put a lot of money and research and pay people to come up with ideas on how to sell their product. Okay, whoever was in that meeting that agreed to this, slap yourself in the back of the head. Because I've asked other people that I know in real life, hey, have you seen that commercial with the screaming eyeball? And they're like, yeah, I know that commercial. What are they selling? I don't know. I have not met a single person, and I know a few, I might not be, I'm kind of a hermit. I don't get out much, but I do know a few people. My brother knows everybody, so I know everybody through him. And I've asked several people. I work in a retail store, work at the sword shop. And I've asked random customers. So it's like, hey, we'll get there chatting about, the latest axe that's come in or something like that. Hey, have you seen that commercial, but with the eyeball with the mouth in it? I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Seen it a couple times. What are they selling? I don't know. Or I'll ask them about another commercial that I've seen. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. That one just screams out at me. Screaming eyeball. And, there's a lot of commercials out there. Got really good, really, really good imagery, good sound, well put together, other than the fact that I have no freaking clue what you're trying to sell me. If you're going to spend that much money on a commercial, you really need to hammer the product. Just hammer it down. This is what we're selling. That's just me. And I don't get it. I should go into, commercial marketing, because I can come up with some bizarre crap. Just dreams that I've had going, I wonder if I could turn that into a commercial. Because I've had dreams that are just as bad as bizarre as some of the commercials I've seen. So, I should come up with something and try to market it. Because obviously this ain't making me no money. This is just a way for me to vent and rage and get all my frustrations, so don't take it out on people that actually, like. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I was just, oh, I know, brainstorm. That was something else I was going to talk about on commercials. This is one focus group that's really bad about doing that, where they're trying to sell you something and you don't know what it is about. You actually have to, sit there and think and go, okay, next time I see this commercial, I'm going to really pay attention to the end, because they always show it at the end. It's like a last 2-3 second clip. Perfume and makeup. They are notoriously bad about just wrecking my brain on me not figuring out what the heck they're trying to sell me. Of course, I am definitely not their target audience. That's mainly targeted towards the ladies. And I don't buy my wife a lot of perfume and makeup because she don't wear a lot of makeup, for one. And two, I can't stand most makeup due to my allergies. So she don't wear a lot of, she only has like a handful of perfumes that I can actually tolerate. So I don't buy those as gifts. I buy her other stuff. Another type of commercial that really pisses me off, and I'm not sure which fast food chain does this one. I don't want to single anybody out. I think it's Hardee's, but nothing against Hardee's. I love Hardee's. Great biscuits. Yum. But there's this like supermodel, really hot chick, chowing down on this nasty looking cheeseburger. I mean, this is one of those Mondo burgers. It's like 8 inches thick. The meat and the stuffing's coming out of the sides, and she's rolling around on the ground, basically like, almost like having sex with a freaking cheeseburger. It is the way this commercial is portraying, is like, look, you eat this cheeseburger, even hot, celebrity models like this cheeseburger. I find it absolutely disgusting. Okay, every time I see this commercial, I just want to go to the bathroom and hurl. Alright, I don't need to see a bikini-clad supermodel hottie chowing down on this nasty-looking cheeseburger with all the pieces falling out and getting in places it shouldn't. No, that's just freaking nasty. Alright, that is not appealing to me at all. Obviously, I'm not their target audience again. Because, and I only saw it for a short amount of time. It didn't stay on the air very long, I don't think. Thank God. But that was another, I don't mind seeing, using, the hotties to sell some certain type of products. Cheeseburgers ain't one of them, guys. Alright? That's just, there's that, some big fat bellied guy, nothing against big fat bellied, but there's some guy out there somewhere that's digging that commercial. Otherwise, they would have never came up with the idea and put it on the air. At least that's what I would like to think about most commercials. That the commercials that they're showing appeal to somebody. That's the type of commercials that these people want. They want commercials that appeal to their target audience. I'm not one of them. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. I think I've covered enough. You guys know what I'm talking about. They suck! Go to the bathroom. Make you some popcorn. Don't watch the commercials. It's a load of crap anyway. Useless junk. That's way overpriced. Be back with you guys in a second. Alrighty, we're back with some more political jargon for you. This is a term. I don't know if it's an actual, term, but this is a term that was brought to me by my wife. Thank you, sweetie. And I have been, deemed a selective socialist. And at first I was kind of like, hey, wait a minute, I'm a capitalist. And then she explained it, and I'm like, I can see your point. So we're going to expand on selective socialism. There might be an actual term out there that this involves, but I don't know what it is. Because I do believe in some governmental programs. Like, hey, if you're going to be taking my tax money, I need to be getting something out of it. Like education, roads, military protection of our country, police, things of that nature. Basically, like emergency care, like hospital, certain types of, like the Red Cross and things like that during hurricanes, floods, mass fire breakouts, stuff like that, where people all of a sudden, oh God, my whole life has just gone to pot. I need some help. Those type of socialistic programs or governmental programs that our taxpayer money fund. That kind of stuff I don't have a problem with. Welfare, in certain aspects, if used properly, could be beneficial on the whole. But the program's screwed up, and I've already gone on a rant about that. Go to the archives, it'll fill you in. But getting back to me being a selective socialist, me and my wife were having a little political discussion about it, and one of the main and this is actually a communist type institution, Social Security. That is a communist ideal where you pay in a basically a predetermined amount for your retirement. The government is forcing you to plan for the future. Now they have here recently they've tried to pass a privatized Social Security, which I'm all for. I don't want the government, because by the time I get to retirement age, there's not going to be any Social Security left. It's going to be depleted. With all the baby boomers and everything like that, there's not going to be any money left. Because the government, on the whole, don't know what the world they're doing when it comes to money. We're in debt. Billions of dollars in debt. Actually, I think it's trillions now. I think the last time I looked, it was like $4 trillion in debt. Of course, if you actually look at the numbers, and I did some research on this. I'm not sure how credible all the information I got, but I got it from several different stories, and I was trying to the best of my ability, collaborate and make sure everything was as accurate as it possibly could get on the numbers. Because throughout history, whenever anybody messed with the U.S., we would go in, bomb the hell out of them, kick their ass, and teach them, hey, don't mess with the U.S., we'll screw you over. But then all of these countries that we had to go teach a lesson to because they wanted to screw with us, we go in and give them money to rebuild their country. And they don't have to pay it back. Also, other countries have borrowed money from the U.S. and then the U.S. writes off the debt. Like, don't worry about it. We're good. Don't worry about paying us back. If you would take all of these debts to other countries where we've just given money or loaned money and written it off, if we were to call in all of those debts, the U.S. would not, we'd be in the black by far. Because all these other countries that hate us, but whenever they need help, who's the first country everybody goes crying to? Good old U.S. of A. Hey, somebody's trying to invade our country and oppress us. You guys have bombs. Come bomb them. And then we go and help out these countries, little police force, stuff like that. And we'll go and we'll do our thing because we've got, the #1 military in the U.S. Even though we have been majorly downsized, our military has been cut tremendously from what it used to be back in old days. And we still could literally mop anybody up. It's no problem. Okay? The small amount we got left will school anybody out there. Yeah, if we were to call in all of these debts, we wouldn't have a money problem. Social Security would be straight. We'd have all the roads fixed. Our schooling would be top notch. All of that stuff would be taken care of. But no, the U.S. has all become so they're a bunch of wussies. We've turned into a country of wussies. We're almost as bad as France. It's getting really pathetic, guys. I mean, I love our military. I've got lots of friends that are in the military, and I thank them every time I see them because they have to put up with a lot of bull crap about, they're baby killers and all this junk. Hey, if it wasn't for our military, we would not have the country we have right now. Okay? We'd still be under British law or somebody else's law, and you wouldn't have nearly as many freedoms to spout your bullcrap rhetoric, which you have the right to do in this country, if it wasn't for the military that you're dogging that gave you that right to do it in the first place. All you whiny little people, just shut up. I'm tired of the whining. You know, a lot of people say, I whine. And no, I don't whine. Alright? I rant. I bitch. Okay? There ain't no whining here. I'm telling you how it is. Alright? The way it is, the way it was, the way it should be. By AngusTheMadCow.com. Okay, I've lost my track of thought. You'll probably catch some bits and pieces in here that won't really, mesh well together. It's because I had to edit out a bunch of crap. It'll go on the blooper reel. Anyway, I'll be back with you guys in a second. Don't you just hate it when your eyeballs stick together? I know I do. Anyway, back to politics. Now, a lot of people are going to say, rip off, rip off. Now, I'm not saying I'm too good to not rip somebody off. I get my material from all kinds of sources. Other comics, TV, radio, political shows, newspaper, internet. I get my stuff from wherever I happen to see it. And I really agree with this particular rant that someone else has done. Foamy! Political pay cut. Actually, I think his was called political pay cap. So I'll do whichever one he didn't use for the title of this track. But he was saying that basically our politicians get paid way too much money. And I agree totally. So for any of you that are not fans of Foamy that haven't heard that rant, here it is, Angus style. Alright, our politicians, government, Congress and Senate is mainly who we're targeting here. They work, I think it's 2 years, 2-year term for Congress and Senate. And after they've worked for 2 years, they get a pension for the rest of their life. That's what a pension is, kind of like a retirement plan. What other job is out there that you can work 2 years and then get a pension, which is a good percentage of what they were making as a Congress or senator for the rest of your life? Is there another job out there like that? Because I would really, really love to have that job. Work 2 years and then not have to work ever again. And most politicians are rich before they even get into office. What the hell do they need a pension for? Me, after I've worked a job for 2 years, and I'm not working that job anymore because, hey, I got fired or laid off or decided to quit, which in some of those, politician cases, if they don't get reelected, that's essentially like getting fired. Guess what I have to do? I have to go get another freaking job. So, guess what, Mr. Politician? When your term's up, go get a freaking job. Not like you need one anyway. Mr. Six-figure income just off of my interest. Most of that is actually, like inherited money, which is cool. But most of the politicians, there was one politician, you can search for this on YouTube. I wish I could remember the guy's name. But do like political, I'm trying to think of a keyword that you could use. But there was a guy on YouTube, I saw this thing. He was proposing a bill for a pay raise for himself. Not anybody else, not a flat pay raise for anybody, just himself. Because his standard of living, and he gave descriptions of what kind of car he drove, his boat, his house, and all this other stuff, and it just wasn't meeting his expectations of living. His car cost like over $100,000. I'm not even going to think about what his boat cost. And this guy's like whining that he's not making enough money. Well, guess what? When I don't have enough money because of my expectations of living, I either A, get a better job, or B, get a second job. Some people work 3 and 4 jobs just to pay bills. These politicians really piss me off. And they have a law in the books that they can not, under any circumstances, they cannot have a pay cut. It is a law. There's no way that, unless all of the politicians in the Congress and the Senate voted another bill to allow their pay to get cut. Do you think they're going to pass that? Do you think they're going to have a majority vote saying, yeah, it's okay for our pay to get cut? I wouldn't vote for it. Hey, I was like, okay, I'm going to pass a bill where I can get less money. Yeah, that don't seem, but they have all of these special sessions about bills like this guy about a pay raise for everybody. They do that all the time. They're spending your taxpayers' money to have special sessions, which is essentially overtime. That's not included in the standard budget of having, their voting sessions and everything like that. The special sessions are extra. They're having to take extra money. So, that's kind of like overtime for them. And a lot of these special sessions are because they couldn't figure out a vote the first time on a bill they were passing because they were deadlocked. Or it's a raise. Or it's something to benefit them, not us as a people. So, yeah, I mean, they have a law on the book saying they can't get their pay cut, but, we're a democratic country. We're, the people. See, if they had these kind of votes instead of it just being the Senate and Congress, and they put it to a popular vote where all of us little minions could vote, yeah, they wouldn't like that very much because most of us are kind of pissed off at the government right now. I don't meet many people that are really happy with their government. A lot of people are like, that's okay. I've seen worse. I've seen better. But most people are just downright fed up. I'm getting to that point where I'm just like, El Revolution! I'm not talking about like pick up your guns and pitchforks and torches and go beat down the White House. I'm not talking about that kind of revolution. But this is another thing. We have the power as a people through voting. When we vote people into office. Of course, a lot of the times we run into that we got to vote for the lesser of the two evil. But every now and again we get a good there's a good political person up there. Well, actually, there is no good politician. There are good government officials that are actually people, but politicians suck. But every now and again, we get a real person up there. And for some reason, the politicians, through their chicanery and trash talking and all stuff like this, because they got more ads to mudsling and stuff like that, end up getting reelected because they down talk the person that might not have a lot of money to do ads and stuff like that. And so they don't get elected. So another thing that everybody needs to do this. Everybody listening, if you have anybody that is voting age, if you're listening to me right now, tell everybody that you know, people walking down the street when it's getting closer to election time, go register and freaking vote. All right, I know this is going to get into a preachy thing, and I'm already running on 8 minutes, so I'm going to try to vote. If you don't vote, you can't gripe about what's going on. That's my opinion. If you don't get out and voice your opinion, don't be sitting there whining and complaining to me about who got elected. I'll run into that all the time. It's like, well, I didn't like who got elected. Well, did you vote for the opposing people? No, I just didn't bother with it. Okay, then don't gripe to me about it. I don't want to hear it. But if everybody can, come together as a group and get somebody up there that knows what the heck they're doing, maybe they'll actually do some good. And that's one thing you have to research. Don't go just by what political TV ads you see or a little snippet in a newspaper that some reporter puts his own personal spin on. You have to listen to everything. Newspaper, TV, go research, internet. Get them from all different kind of sources, not just CNN, not just NBC, not just ABC, because every network has their own spin on things. And you've got to dig, and it's hard to get the actual facts and truth. But in order to get a decent person up there, don't believe all the smoke screens. You got to research it for yourself. Don't just go by what your neighbor or your dad says or something like that. You got to get the information for yourself. So do that. Research this stuff. The election's not too far away. It's coming up real soon. Research. Find out, who has certain views and what views you believe in. Find out what kind of views you believe in the first place and vote for that person. Vote your conscience. Don't just vote because, well, you've always voted Republican, or you always voted Democrat, or you've always voted Libertarian. Don't vote parties. That is one of the worst things you can do, is vote straight ticket. Never vote straight ticket. Vote for the person you think is going to get the job done, regardless of what party they're affiliated with. We need to abolish parties. But I'll get back to this topic. Maybe I might go into something else. See you guys in a second. Hi, I would like to say that I've been getting tons of email or lots of people activity on the forums and stuff like that, but heck, the only email I've gotten from my Angus at angusthemadcow.com is test emails from myself. And the only people that have posted on the forums was my buddy Gino, Lightsaber, and now Wiggum, who's helping me rework my forums. Thank you, Wig! But I actually have had this question asked to me in real life. You know, it's one of those things that's in topics is, how do I feel about the war? Okay, I'm going to put everybody's minds at rest, and there will be no question about my standpoint on the war. Okay, I'm not one of those wishy-washy kind of people, if you hadn't figured that out yet. Now, I'm not saying I'm not too dumb to admit when I'm wrong on a particular topic, but you got to hit me with a lot of evidence to get me to change my view on something. So bring it. I'm for it. Blow them the hell up. Okay? I think we need to be a lot more aggressive in our warmongering nation self. Because, you know, pardon this term, but we're a country of frickin' pussies. We've become a bunch of little pansy wimps. Alright? That's what we're coming into. We've downsized our military. When it's wartime, war is not pretty. War is an ugly thing. Any old military person that's actually been through an active war, or at least some sort of police action, it's not pretty. You know, you can hear war stories just from your local, sheriff office sometime. War is even uglier than that. Okay, it's not a pretty thing. But the reason I'm for this is because the people we're fighting want to kill us all. No matter what kind of political, religious, or whatever view, we are the infidels and deserve to die in their viewpoint. Now, me, I'm all for leaving people alone. I don't like war. I don't want to kill anybody. I want everybody, if you want to believe in Allah, or you want to believe in Jehovah, or whoever you want to believe in, I don't care. You're free to do so. That's what makes this country great. Okay, you are free to believe in whatever religion you want to. And I'm going to let you do it. But as soon as that religion tells you that you need to kill every other person that doesn't believe like you do, I mean, this even includes, religious Christians that used to burn, witches at the stake. No, I'm not for that either. If your religion or your political viewpoint tells you that, hey, if you don't believe exactly how I do, I'm going to kill you, guess what? I'm going to try to kill you first. It's one of those, double-edged swords. And it's like, well, you're a hypocrite just by making that statement. No. As long as you will do what you want to do and leave me the hell alone, I got no problems with you. But as soon as you threaten myself or anybody else that I care about, my country, fellow citizens, anything like that, yeah, I'm taking your ass out. Okay? And another thing that stems with that is, when's the last time the U.S. has been invaded? I think it was back in the colonial days when the British people were still actually in the country, and then we kicked them the hell out. I don't think anybody's tried to come in across the border since then. I'm not a real good history buff on certain things, specifics, but I'm pretty sure we haven't been invaded since then. Main reason? About 90, well, it's probably not right now, but back in World War II days, over 90% of households in America had at least one firearm. They asked a Japanese general after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, when they basically just kicked our asses, caught us completely off guard. They had the capability to invade the western U.S. and just take over. They could have probably put a foothold in California. And they asked several Japanese generals why they didn't do that. They stated that they believed that they were not going to be able to hold a foothold due to the fact that they wouldn't only be fighting the U.S. military, they would have to fight all of the U.S. citizens that would jump up in their face and say, hey, get the hell out of my country. Nowadays, hardly, I think it's around 60% of households have guns, because you got all these anti-gun laws and anti-gun people. They need to get rid of all guns. Okay, Britain tried that. Britain has a law. You cannot own a firearm in Great Britain. They still have more crime and murder and rape than we do in the U.S. in some places. Now, it's going to be different than city to city, but they have an outrageous crime rate. Guess what they're using? Some of them are using guns. Why? Because if somebody's going to break the law, they're not going to care if it's a rape or a murder or a freaking gun law. It's just another law that they're going to break. A criminal's not going to give a rat's ass about another law if they're already going to be breaking another major law, like a bank robbery. Also, a lot of the muggings and assaults are done with either knives, bats, or any other weapon that they can get their hands on. They just passed a law that you cannot own a katana in London. Actually, I think it's the entirety of Great Britain now. Because people were buying these El Cheapo pawn shop special katana blades and holding people up with them. If you don't know what a katana is, it's a sword. Okay, it's a Japanese sword, got a curved blade. Go watch some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon or something. Criminals are going to break the law regardless. The only thing that gun laws hinder are law-abiding citizens that want to have a gun for either recreational hunting or self-defense. Or, in case of war, a quick start militia. That was another reason that the law was enacted, was so normal citizens, if need be, could form an immediate militia, be armed, and be able to defend their town. That's why everybody had guns. Back in the colonial days when they were still settling, you had Native Americans that, hey, they didn't want us on their land, so they were trying to chase us off. Or the Spanish were coming in, or the British right after the Revolution. If they wanted to try to come in and do something else, you needed a town militia. So we need guns. Also, another reason, and our government officials back then thought ahead. Hey, what if our current government eventually becomes corrupt, like the British government has, and tries to force feed things down your throat? If nobody has weapons, nobody can revolt. Why do you think so many communist countries like Cuba and China have all of these laws restricting their people from having weapons? So they can't be overthrown. Nobody can revolt. If the army's the only people that have weapons, you have nothing to defend yourself with if they decide to go all crazy like in V, the V for Vendetta and other movies like that, where the government just takes absolute control and does the Big Brother thing and puts a little chip in your hand where they can track you at any given location. Hey, it's already happening. You need to be able to defend yourself when the crap hits the fan. But, you want to hand over your gun? Go right ahead. They'll take it out of my cold, dead hand. Thank you very much. I got a gun safe full of them. Every one of them's legal. So if you want to come check, go right ahead. Got off on a tangent on that one about, we were talking about my feelings of the war and got onto gun rights. I'm a warmonger. I don't like war, but if it's necessary, hey, it's got to be done. It's survival of the fittest. If you're going to try to kill me, I'm going to kill you first. It's just, it's human nature, and it's also nature. It happens. They're fighting over food. One bigger lion is going to win over the smaller lion. It's just the way things work. Deal with it. Alright, I'm going to end it right here. We'll get back with something else here in a second. I'm sorry, I got a little bit long-winded there on the gun issue. Back to wars. Or actually, wartime in general. One thing that would make this war even better is if our president, or maybe even our next president, hopefully, depending on how long this war is going to go on, executive orders. For those of you that do not know what an executive order is, an executive order is an order enacted by the president during wartime that does not have to go through the Senate or the Congress. It's bam, it's there. And they can only do that in wartime. I think there's stipulations on to what type of executive orders that can be enacted, like a draft or something like that. Well, we've had a little bit of a downtrend on recruitment because a lot of people are fed up with the war. It's gone on too long, or they don't agree with it. So, our military got cut back a lot. So, and we're not getting a lot of new recruits into the military. So basically, we're needing some bodies and people carrying guns to go over there. I wish the president would enact an order, round up all of the gangbangers. They're already criminals. They're already good at killing. They already know how to use a gun. Round up all these gangbangers, send them to military camp for some revision and better tactics, and drop them off. War would be over in no time. It's like, hey man, that dude over there is trying to sell crack on your hood. They'd kill him in a heartbeat. I mean, it'd be no problem. Or, even better, take that same philosophy, round up all the gangbangers of all the different gangs, and place all the gangs in different locations around the battlefield, and tell them that some rival gang that's across the town is gunning for them. So all of these guys are going to kill everything in their path to get to the rival gang, and then they'll kill each other off. It's a win-win. Can't argue that. Well, no, that is, civil rights and human freedoms. They're freaking criminals, okay? They're lifetime gangbangers. They're a waste of skin. Selling crack and whatever other kind of drug they can. Damn the man and pop, cap, bling, bling. We're warriors of the streets type. It's a bunch of crap, okay? Grow up and go get a real freaking job. Or join the military. Well, the military is a real job too, don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging my military brothers and sisters out there. Love you guys. But yeah, I mean, we need a lot of we need the president to step in there and do some executive orders. Round up them. I would say round up the illegal immigrants, but all they know how to do is cut their grass. Of course, there's not a lot of grass over there. Sand. And here's another executive order that would be awesome. I was ranting earlier about the political officials getting paid too much. Well, we need a little bit of extra money for the war effort. Cut their pay. Executive order. That would override anything that they've passed before. He's like, hey, we need more money to buy guns. I'm getting half your paycheck for that. Oh, it would be freaking sweet. And then, of course, as soon as the war is over, their pay's still cut. That law is still going to be inactive or in action. He can make it where, it's, and then later on they can get raises. I mean, even if you cut their pay by half, they're still getting tons of money. And I'm sorry, somebody with that much money can't relate to somebody at the poverty level. I mean, cut their pay, make them scrape to make ends meet for a while, and maybe we can get some stuff done. Or, here's another thought. If a political official wasn't actually making a lot of money, the only people that would actually run for those positions would be people that didn't care about money and actually want to get junk done. We'd actually get people up there instead of rich politicians wanting to line their wallets. All for it. Come on, Bush. Make me proud. You've got a lot of making up to do. Or the next president. I'm trying to research who I'm going to vote for. Because right now, they're just so much mudslinging. And during the primaries, it's kind of hard to figure out where they actually stand. Because they're dogging their own party, that's running against them so bad that you don't really know where anybody stands right now. It's just, tell me what you're going to do. Don't tell me what the other person may have done 10 freaking years ago. Ugh. Now, a little bit of trash talking is fine, but don't go overboard. Jeez. And here's another thing. I'm an old school fan of Vlad the Impaler. He had some good philosophies. Because if we use some of his philosophies when we were hunting for Bin Laden or anybody else we needed to find, this is pretty much how it goes down. We know he's hiding in there. Either you turn him over or we're going to kill your entire country. That actually happened in certain scenarios with Vlad. There was a criminal who stole some stuff from a merchant. He went to Vlad and said, hey, my stuff's been stolen. He goes into the town and says, I know he's here. I have reports that he's here. Turn him over or I will kill the entire village. Within like a couple hours, the criminal himself turns himself in, turns in all the money, plus extra. If he hadn't turned in the extra stuff, Vlad was going to impale him. That's the only thing that caused him to save his life, was that not only did he return what he stole in short order, he compensated the merchant for his trouble. Vlad also used to have a golden goblet in one of the main cities that he stayed in. Anybody was welcome to drink from it, as long as it was not taken from the square. It was never stolen. He had no crime in his entire country. People call him a criminal. They call him, he was evil because he impaled people and well, the drinking the blood, that was, there's no proof of that. We really need to enact some of his philosophies because he had it right. People did not invade his country because of sheer fear. His army was top notch because losing was a worse punishment than if you died on the battlefield. You did not want to be a deserter in his army. You got it worse than the enemy did. That's how only several thousand of his troops fought off tens of thousands of other troops, because they knew if they lost, they were screwed. They didn't want to go home losers. But anyway, I think I'm about out of time. Gonna wrap this up. Vlad the Impaler for president, or at least somebody like him. Be back with you guys in a second. Well, that's all for the May edition of My Ranting Hour. We've talked about politics, guns, and a lot of other stuff tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Basically, don't trust the government as far as you can throw them. Don't let them take your guns. Whenever you have the means to defend yourself, it keeps them honest. Look at Cuba. But anyway, hope you guys got a little bit more insight of how I feel on particular topics, especially dealing with the government and the war. Sorry it was late again. Hopefully it won't happen again. Hopefully I won't be stupid and delete everything. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed everything I talked about tonight. I'm kind of just wrapped up in the music. It's got that nice little beat to it. But anyway, I'm Angus the Mad Cow. This has been your May edition of My Ranting Hour. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.